Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's me, Vic Shambliss, and I'm back with another video on Rad the Maverick TV. Cut all the reality TV bullshit. Let's talk about something that I've never ever talked about on this show. Now, usually y'all used to like the regular, but I'm gonna bring something. Y'all used to the usual, but like let's do something unusual. Usual. No, you're tired of the usual. Let's talk about one of my. This is one of 3 videos. I'm gonna do one video on this video about Xscape, one of my favorite girl groups of all time. Then I'm gonna do 2 more videos about my all-time favorite group, TLC. Then the next video is gonna be about one of a group I like a lot, Destiny's Child. Like Destiny's Child, they give me what I want, but they don't give me what I need. You know what I'm saying? But you know, no. They give me what I need, but they don't give me what I want. That's a lot better. But let's talk about Xscape for right now. I can't really even say when I became the biggest fan of Xscape. I've always known about them because, like, you know, when you watch them commercials, when they be advertised like the best songs of the 90s, every time you sit in Xscape, kick off your shoes and relax your feet. Party on down to the Xscape beat, just kick it. That was always shown, so that's how I knew about Xscape at a young age. And then as I began to get older, I began to remember songs that I used to hear when I was little, like the only 2 songs I remember of Xscape when I was younger was Just Kicking It, and The Arms of the One Who Loves You. I never even known about, and Who Can I Run To? Everything else I didn't really know about until I became older and learned about it, discovered it. So I think I became a fan of them when I was during MySpace days. That was a while ago, and I have seen their video Tonight, and I love Tonight, and the video was okay. I guess it was fitting. Like, they could have put more into it, but you know, it was kind of low budget, so maybe they couldn't. But with that being said, after that, you know, it was just Xscape everything. Like, Feel So Good, which is my favorite Xscape song, and probably still my favorite song to this day by anybody, and it was just everything. I started downloading their whole albums, listening to them, and just became a fan. I started looking at their live performances, interviews, all that. My 2 favorite members of Xscape, which I'm still to this day salty that the 2 of them never did a song by themselves together, which is Kandi Burruss and Tamika Scott. Every time you got an Xscape song, you got all the girls. You got Kandi and Tiny, LaTocha and Kandi, LaTocha and Tiny, LaTocha and Tamika, but you never had a Kandi and Tamika. Maybe that's because they hated each other the most in the group. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. But let's talk about the origin. Just from the beginning to the end about Xscape. I'm going to talk about their albums, the material on their albums. I'm going to talk about the girls individually. I'm going to talk about the drama, the rumors, the breakup, and I'm going to try to be as fair and unbiased as possible. So, and before, you know, in the 80s, sometime, I don't know what the case might be, you know, the girls, they met each other in school. I think Kandi met Tiny, and Tiny was friends with Tasha and Tamika, and I think it was her idea to put them all together. They started performing at talent shows. Excuse me. LaTocha came up with the name Xscape, so she said. I really want to know where that came from, because like just out of nowhere, she said she just came out of nowhere. We should be named Xscape. The first thing I thought, okay, we about to escape to the ghetto. Escape from the ghetto and be big stars. That's the only thing I could think of, but I don't know where she got it came from. With that being said, they originally it was 5 members. It was Kandi Burruss, LaTocha Scott, Tamika Tiny Cottle, and Tamara Coggins. Now I don't know why Tamara Coggins dropped out, but she dropped out after they were on Team Summit, which came on BET. They performed their own rendition of En Vogue's Hold On, and that video is on YouTube, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. With that being said, there became 4 of them. Jermaine Dupri had seen them, and Kandi said, he was like, yo, y'all dope, y'all like the ghetto, En Vogue, and I want to sign y'all, whatever the case might be. So he invited them to perform at his birthday party, I think in 1991, and he just fell in love. Like, he just seen something in them, like he said, the ghetto En Vogue, but the ghetto En Vogue with talent. En Vogue is talented. They blew Xscape out the water, but you know, they ghetto En Vogue with talent. But he signed them, and they came out with their debut album, Hummer Coming At Ya, in 1993. I don't even think I was 1 yet, because I was born December 19th, 1992, so I probably wasn't even 1 yet. So whatever the case might be, they came out. I downloaded the album, I listened to it. It was okay. I see it was definitely a first album, but because not everybody's first album is their best album or even a great album. Like Aaliyah's first album, it was okay, but she definitely got better with time. So that was the same with Xscape, and to some extent. But listening to it, the girls, like, they all could sing. Like, I really liked LATOCHA'S voice. She was more of a jack of all trades. Like, she can give you soft to the point, like, where she sounds innocent. She can also give you that power. Kandi's voice was very versatile. I mean, she could give you Tony. The next minute she's going high with her high notes and her whistle registers and give you low-key Mariah. Tiny's voice was very emotional. Like, I feel like if you're going to sing like a hardcore love song, you want Tiny to like lead that song, because she's really going to give you like, I'm hurt and this is how I feel. Tamika's voice, I feel like she had the most powerful voice, and I think one of the reasons why she was looked over in the group, because she sounded too much like LATOCHA. But I will say that her voice definitely had more power than LATOCHA, but it was such a shame that her voice really wasn't utilized in a lot of their material. But the group was very, very equal in the beginning. But I will say LATOCHA was doing like a lot of the work, and Kandi said, you know, she was able to do so because her voice was a lot more mature. Like, when they came out, they was like teenagers, and LATOCHA was like maybe she was maybe 18 or 19, while they was like Kandi was 15, and Tamika was probably 17 or going on 17. Tamika was and Tiny was probably the same thing, but LATOCHA just had that voice where like she could do it all, but get whistle registers. But I will say it was equal, but to the point where it was like LATOCHA was like delivering more. Like, the group delivered, but she was definitely delivering a lot more. And I will say a lot of the songs, it was more like Kandi and LATOCHA. And on that same album, Kandi had one song to herself, which is Pumping. You gotta keep it pumping. I like that song. That's hot. And that was pretty much it. Like, I will say, like, Tiny and Tamika really didn't sing that much on that album. Then they came out 1995, which was my favorite album by them, Off the Hook. My favorite song on that album, and my favorite Xscape song period, is Feel So Good. But that album was just great from fucking top to bottom. Let's do like, I think I can remember the whole track list. Let's see. Got Feel So Good, Who Can I Run To, Do You Want To, Hard to Say Goodbye, Love's a Funny Thing, Do Like Lovers Do, Can't Hang, Love's a Funny Thing, and Hard to Say Goodbye. I think about 9 songs plus some interludes, but it was just a fucking great album. But the big noticeable change is, like, on all the singles you had LATOCHA leading and plus another member. There wasn't a single like on that last album where all of them sung. It was Tasha and another girl. Like, Who Can I Run To? Tasha and Tamika. Feel So Good, Tasha and Kandi. Can't Hang, Tasha and Kandi. Do You Want To, Tasha and Tamika. Like, I really wish like it would have been like, maybe we could have got a Kandi and a Tamika, or a Tiny and a Tamika, but we just got Tasha plus another member. But the album was just great all in all. Like, I loved it. Aside from like the lineup changes during the songs, whatever the case might be. But anyway, then they came up with the third album in 1998, Traces on My Lipstick. This album, like, you can tell, like, somebody was definitely pushing Tasha fat ass to the motherfucking front as much as they could push her. Because this bitch was fucking leading almost every song. And then on top of that, she was doing songs by herself. Now, one song they did, Do You Know, LATOCHA did that whole song top to bottom, but Kandi, Tamika, and Tiny did the background vocals for the chorus and the bridge. Tasha was doing the lead vocals. It was still a high song, but it was like, damn, can that other girl sing? Like, what the fuck? And I noticed, like, she was doing like the whole song. Some songs she was doing everything. She was doing all the verses and the background vocals and the bridge. I'm like, god damn, what the fuck is going on? Like, I didn't like that, because it's just like, this isn't a group. This is Tasha and Xscape. Like, that's not cool. If you gonna do a group, start how you finish. If y'all came out where it was just like Tasha and Xscape, that would have been cool, because that's what we got from the beginning. And then if y'all would have changed to like just Xscape, that would have been cool. But if you're gonna come in, stay Tasha and Xscape and finish Tasha and Xscape. But if you're gonna come in as Xscape, stay Xscape, leave Xscape. And whatever the case might be, it got over to a boiling point, and the girls just went away. Kandi went on to become like this world-renowned songwriter. She came out with an album. It didn't do so good, but it did chart, but it didn't do so good. It was definitely a Kandi album. It was okay. Tasha came out with a solo album. I seen the album cover, but I don't know what that goddamn album is. And Tiny, she helped write no scrubs with Kandi, whatever the case. And then, which was actually supposed to be their song, but TLC ended up getting it, which was cool because they won a Grammy, and they won a Grammy too for the songwriting. Tamika, that bitch, one of my favorites, but she really wasn't doing nothing anyway. So, all of a sudden, they come back in 2-5, but minus Kandi, they put Keisha Miles in the group, and then, like, after that, no more Xscape. And then, let's just talk about, like, the breakup. I've heard, like, multiple stories. One story I heard, like, it was a problem with Tasha leading on all the songs. But they said Kandi left because she wasn't granted full productive control or creative control, whatever the case might be, in reference to writing songs. So she left because of that. And that broke up the group. Tameka Scott came out and said, well, Miss Jones did a fucking messy, trashy ass interview saying that they broke up because Kandi slept around with Jermaine Dupri and tried to become the Diana Ross of Xscape. I didn't know how to feel about that because I really didn't know. Kandi said, I actually believe Kandi's story because it actually made sense. What Tameka was saying, that was more like a personal thing. Kandi made it known on like a business side. She was like, you know, one of our group members wanted to go solo, and while we were in negotiation for our third album, we weren't going to be able to do a fourth album until Tasha was done. Well, she didn't say Tasha, but she said, well, some interviews she said Tasha, some interviews she said a solo member. And she said we weren't going to be able to do nothing else until she was done with her album. So at that time she was like, okay, this Xscape is clearly running its course because, like, bitch, I don't want to be sitting around on the back burner while you finish doing what you're doing. Like, you fucking with, like she said one of her, you fucking with my money. Like, I got to find a way to make money too. Like, I just can't wait to sit around for you to make your money while I'm just sitting at home on the couch. So, like, bitch, that ain't hot. Anyway, so after that point, like, that was it. My thing is this, like, I believe what Kandi said, like, okay, I need to find something to do. I'm not just about sitting around like a dumb bitch waiting for you to finish what you got to do. So I'm going to do my own damn thing. And then Tasha has said that this, like Tamika, she was on some personal shit. She was like, you know, Kandi always had like a problem with me singing lead on all the songs. And I just wanted to sing. And Kandi always had a problem with it. And I was just like, I was over it. And Jermaine Dupri, he approached me. He was like, okay, you need to do a solo album and all this kind of stuff. She was like, oh, that's great, girl. So we can hook this album up. And then, you know, that was it. There was no more Xscape. And I'm just like, okay. The way they were saying it, it was basically like it was all Kandi's fault. And if that's true, I can see where Kandi is coming from. Cause bitch, before we get into that, yeah, this morning I watched a very messy ass, trashy ass interview that Latasha and her manager did. Her manager was basically speaking out against Kandi. He was saying that it was all Kandi's fault. Like, Kandi always had a problem with Latasha leading on all the songs. He said producers like Babyface and whoever the case they was working with would want Latasha to sing, and Kandi would just, like, she would throw tantrums and just storm out the room and all of that kind of shit. Then he also said, like, nobody liked her. And, like, you know, she thinks she's all that, like, making her money, and, like, she wrote these songs, but yeah, she know how she got to write them songs, implying that she slept around and, like, write some songs. I don't believe that. Because, bitch, really? I don't believe that. Anyway, and he said that, you know, oh, she's doing what she was always about, making sex toys, calling her a hoe subliminally. Like, he was really just dogging Kandi. And now I understand why Kandi said that, you know, I don't want to do an Xscape reunion. Because one reason, like, we didn't get along. Secondly, we didn't even make that much money. Like, we made money, but, like, it's nothing like, it just wasn't big money. And then another thing, it's like, bitch, Tamika came out and said that I was a slut, basically, and that bitch, if she was going to come out and diss me publicly, then she needs to make a public apology, and she didn't do so, so Kandi ain't having that. And then, bitch, Latasha, you got your manager fucking dogging out your group member. Like, are you for real? Like, even if you don't agree with it, okay, you can be like, okay, we're not gonna make this that kind of interview. But she just sat there and let him just dog her out, talking about something. Anytime you have a person who on a show talking about something, if they want to take care of everybody in the room, that's just a bitter person. Kandi is clearly bitter because she didn't have a voice that Latasha got. I'm just like, bitch, okay, it sounds, he was like, from 12 years, I watched interviews with Kandi down and Tasha saying that, oh, a group member wanted to go solo. He said that a group member wanted to go solo. No, they asked Kandi on one interview, supposed interview. They asked Kandi, okay, what happened? She was like, a group member wanted to go solo. And he was like, oh, was it the big girl? She was like, yeah, okay, bitch, it was the big girl. What was she supposed to say? She was supposed to lie? It wasn't me. And then he was also saying some personal shit, talking about some, oh, when they broke up, Jermaine Dupri signed Tasha to So Def. Kandi got signed directly to Columbia. So Def is a subsidiary of Columbia. And he was like, what does that tell you? Basically saying that Kandi was like sleeping around to get the job. But I'm like, okay, bitch, if Latasha said that Jermaine Dupri approached her about doing a solo album, if he was all that for putting Latasha out as a solo artist, why didn't her album go any fucking where? That answer that question for me. And then he was just all the bullshit that he was coming out of his mouth was just negative bullshit. It seemed like you're the one who's bitter because Latasha, who's very talented, ain't making it, and Kandi, who you probably believe ain't talented, got all this money. She got her show, she got her store, she got her sex toy line. Like Kandi is fucking doing it, and Latasha ain't. It seemed like you bitter about that. I wasn't even here for that. Like I said, I understand why Kandi don't want to do a reunion. Because, like, bitch, even if you don't feel that way, you don't have to let your manager dog me in this type of way. Got me peeing like this slut, this mean bitch-ass slut that slept her way to the top. Really? Because that if you didn't have nothing to say about it, that obviously must mean that you agree with it. And, bitch, if you agree with it, then get to stepping. I don't want to do no fucking reunion. Had that other bitch, Keisha Miles, take my place. Because obviously y'all feel like I wasn't fucking talented. That whole interview, I'm going to put the link below the info box, but that whole interview was just fucking bullshit. It was messy. It was trashy. And I just couldn't believe it. Like, he was really dogging Kandi out. But it just seemed like you're the bitter and jealous when you trying to call Kandi bitter. Because, like, what? And another thing he said that threw me off, talking about some, Kandi and Tiny, like, they on their shows, but they never even mentioned Xscape, where it came from. Yes, the fuck they have. Tiny on her show, Tiny told, you know, I've sold millions of records with my group Xscape. Kandi, when she first came out with her show, when she came out on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was like, I was in the group Xscape. She made it known that's where she came from. So what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this bitch, this fat ass sloppery bitch, because they didn't even show his ass in the interview. They was just showing Latasha fat ass just sitting there with a goofy expression on her face. She was looking good though. But you know, I just wasn't here for that. And hopefully SWV, they came out and hopefully they'll inspire Xscape to get together. But until like they have a talk, I don't see it happening, because I can see why Kandi don't want to come back to the situation. Because look how y'all treating her. As far as I know, Kandi, like, she's not following Tamika or Tasha on Twitter. Like, she's following Tiny, and that just goes to show. Another thing, he said Kandi's trying to portray like this goody two shoes on the show. Like, bitch, even if Kandi was a bitch back in the day, it's good to show like she's changed over the 12 years that she's not been in Xscape, right? And another thing, I don't believe that Tasha was a goody two shoes. I believe that bitch was making known like, okay, I'm the lead singer of Xscape, and I want to see sing lead. And if these producers want me to sing lead, bitch, that's what's gonna happen. And I believe, because she said, you know, she wasn't happy with herself because she was always known as the big girl singer. She was dark skinned, all of that kind of shit. So I believe that got to her. And what do people do when they not happy with themselves? They take that out on everybody else. And I can understand, like I said, I can understand why Kandi got mad. Because, like, bitch, okay, why every time we get ready to do a song, this bitch getting pushed to the forefront? Because that'll make me feel like, okay, bitch, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with Tamika? What's wrong with Tiny? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with the rest of us? Like, it brings me back to, like, LaToya Luckett on Boulevard of Broken Dreams. She said, Beyonce, you know, she's an amazing vocalist. She sounds amazing in that booth. But can I sing? Like, what's wrong with me? Am I talented? Do y'all think I'm not talented? Like, who wouldn't be offended by that? Constantly. So, that whole interview was fucking trash. And like, Tasha, I'm saying it here, you're never going to be Kandi. You're not even going to have the same success as Kandi. Your manager, he's wasting his time because he's not going to garner it either. His fat, sloppy ass. Both of y'all some fat slops, and y'all clearly ain't got. Y'all jealous of Kandi because she's making it, and she ain't got the voice, but bitch, she got the business acumen, and Kandi is talented. She ain't as talented vocally as Latasha, but she is talented. She's talented. She's more talented than Rihanna. Okay. So all that, I really didn't mean to drag this video as long as I did, but you know, that shit was just fucking bullshit. It blew me away. And like I said, I love Xscape, but if this is the way things are at fucking these girls in their late 30s, and like this is the shit that's going on, it's probably a reason why they shouldn't even reunite. I mean, I would love to see it, like all four of them, Kandi, Tamika, Tiny, and Tasha, all on the stage together, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But anyway, Kandi, you know I love you, Kandi. I'm team Kandi all day. I got your back, whatever the case might be. If y'all see the video, tweet this video to Kandi, because like this is something I'm very passionate about. Because like, don't be coming for my girl. Even if that was how she was, she ain't like that no more, and she ain't gotta sleep around no more. Maybe LaTocha should have slept her fat ass around to get some fucking work. Cause like, where the fuck has she been? Although I did like her song "Bad Time" and it was cool. So if y'all haven't listened to that, listen to it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. But other than that, fuck it. That's all I want to talk about today. This video fucking 20 minutes long. God damn. I hope y'all still watch it anyway, and I hope y'all like it, whatever the case might be. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. The next video is going to be on Destiny's Child. The next video after that going to be on my favorite girl group of all time, TLC. And I'm going to explain all of that. But, you know, Xscape, they did their thing. I didn't like how everything was more on LaTocha. Like, it wasn't fair. And Tamika, you out there trying to make Kandi look like the bad guy. Bitch, your own sister was going to have you on the back burner. I'm pretty sure this bitch would have sung all the goddamn songs like, okay, we don't need Tamika. I can do her part. So you defend her. I understand that's your sister, but your own sister fucking with your money. And like, you know, family and money, it don't mix well. Unless y'all all in business together. And at that point, y'all weren't business together, but that bitch was clearly trying to, on her way to get more shares than you in no goddamn business. Stupid bitch. But you know, that's all I wanted to talk about on this video. So if y'all like this video, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter at BigShamBliss, VICCHAMBLISS, and I will see y'all on my next 2 videos, whatever the case may be, on whatever the topic. But y'all have just all the baby. Peace.